Coming up next, local Chaldean Americans rallied to keep East County united. How they say the potential redistricting of El Cajon will divide their community.
If you're traveling internationally and you're worried about that COVID-19 test getting home, it may be easier than you think.
The husband charged with murdering Maya Miliete nominates his parents to be the guardians of their kids.
And did a child actually swear at First Lady Jill Biden during her holiday book reading at the White House? We verify.
Should California change the recall process? That's a question legislators are working on answering.
Plus, for the second time in just a few months, a serval is captured in the North County. News 8 starts right now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price in tonight for Carla Chiquetto.
And I'm Marcella Lee. Local Chaldean Americans say a possible redistricting of El Cajon will divide their community and even hurt services to refugees who arrive in East County.
News 8's Jesse Pagan is live in El Cajon tonight where a rally took place this afternoon. Jesse.
Yeah, Steve, Marcella, the Chaldeans rallied in this plaza right here, rallying that support even along with East County leaders like El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells, going against those proposed redistricting maps. They fear that those new lines would just divide their community.
Hear our voice! Hear our voice!
With chants and signs, the Chaldeans are fighting to maintain their community voice and political power.
And we call upon the IRC to not break up a 50-year community of interest and save the community in which we live, work, and pray.
The county's Independent Redistricting Commission is proposing new supervisorial district lines, bringing El Cajon into one district with more central neighborhoods. That has the residents here worried.
This is our home away from home.
Rally spokesperson Afaf Kanja says one of the main concerns is the 50-year-old Chaldean community losing the voice it has, representing not only them, but also other East County communities, including some Muslim and Jewish groups.
It's basically the East County community with the same traditional and core values, especially here in El Cajon. So we don't want other special interest groups saying that they speak for us, because really they don't.
El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells agrees.
These changes would really bring the El Cajon area and take it out of the East County, which historically has always been, and bring it down into the city of San Diego.
Which Wells is calling a political move, catching the community by surprise.
That's a very thinly veiled attempt to really separate the communities based upon what I think is politics.
Now, people here that were rallying today also told me it's not just about the politics, but it's also about the sense of community and the support that they give to each other, even to refugees that have come in from the Middle East recently. We did reach out to the county and the Independent Redistricting Commission. We are waiting to hear back from them. In the meantime, there is a public window open for public comment, and a meeting to discuss this and finalize these maps is scheduled for Thursday at 5:30 in downtown.
All right, Jesse, thanks. A Marine who was hit and killed when he stopped to help two people who crashed on Interstate 5 has been identified. And these are new images of him. Alberto Lucio was struck while trying to help the driver and passenger move their disabled SUV off the freeway early Monday morning. Investigators say that SUV was stalled in the southbound lanes of I-5 after they crashed into the center divide. But then the SUV was hit by a box truck and the 20-year-old Marine was killed. According to the CHP, the SUV's lights were off at the time. The driver and passenger suffered serious injuries, and that driver is now facing charges of DUI.
Several flights from San Diego to Hawaii have been delayed today, and here's why. A powerful storm is slamming the islands, causing flooding and mudslides.
Forecasters using the words dangerous and catastrophic to describe the pounding Hawaii is taking during a powerful storm that started Monday and is expected to continue into Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, wow.
The heavy rain is also causing mudslides, spilling into homes and businesses. And take a look at this. The mud ankle deep in some places and filling a swimming pool in Maui. The county's mayor fears no area has been spared from damage.
There's standing water, there's lots of debris around, fallen trees. We had a lot of rain and a lot of sediment flowing on our roadways all over.
On Oahu, the rain is coming down hard, flooding several areas. You can barely see this car's tires, and there's concern the worst is yet to come.
The National Weather Service has advised us that for Oahu, there's still potential for what they consider to be catastrophic rainfall, and potentially looking at 10 to 15 additional inches of rain for the island of Oahu.
The storm is hitting as thousands plan trips to the area to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Fortunately, Tuesday's large memorial service went on as planned, Mother Nature providing a bit of a break at just the right time. But for those who came to Hawaii to relax on sunny beaches, well, they traded bathing suits for umbrellas. Hawaii's governor declared a state of emergency for the entire state and urged residents to prepare for road closures and damage to homes. The state's director of emergency management echoed that warning and added this.
We really ask the public to stay vigilant, pay attention to your surroundings, and really don't take any chances at this time. If there's any non-essential activities that you can curtail at this point, please do so.
And the storm also knocked out power to hundreds of homes in that area.
Really thinking about those people there, it looks terrible.
And a lot of San Diegans heading out there for vacation.
Yes.
Not really what they had expected, for sure.
No, not at all. Fortunately, no deaths have been reported, but there have been multiple swiftwater rescues, including 5 boys ages 9 and 10 who were pulled and rescued from a raging stream. Okay, back here at home, we saw nothing like that. A little bit of rain to start our Tuesday, and while it was over by the afternoon, it is not over for the week.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis. She's here with the first look at your microclimate forecast. Carlene, what's coming?
We are looking at a stronger storm system. So for today, we just had light shower activity. We were talking mainly hundreds of an inch, just in that range across the county. Right now, we don't have any showers falling, but we do have some clouds that are still holding strong. So we're still holding on to maybe an isolated shower or two before 10 p.m., but I think at best we're just going to have patchy drizzle and some mist out there with the deepening of the marine layer as we go into tomorrow morning. We're going to put a pause on the wet weather for Wednesday, and then we're looking at a better chance on Thursday. Want to go ahead and set that clock in motion. This is 11 p.m. for tomorrow night. We're going to stay dry for most of our day on Wednesday, but then you start to get into those overnight hours, early morning hours for Thursday. That's when we see that next influx of moisture. This is going to move in around 7:30 in the morning. You're seeing some scattered shower activity and more moderate rainfall, so light to moderate with the next system, potentially seeing about ½ an inch, and that will be the inland valleys, also upwards of an inch across our mountains, and seeing that wet weather around 4:30 on Thursday. We start to dry out a little bit more as we get into the overnight hours into Friday, and then we're going to take another pause, but then there's even more chances for wet weather in the works. So more details in your complete forecast. Marcella?
All right, Carlene, thanks. Today, a former North County teacher pleaded not guilty to child pornography charges. 31-year-old Andrew Jared Primes was arrested back in July. He was a substitute teacher at 2 local school districts, Poway Unified and San Diego Union High School. He also worked as a Boy Scout leader for the Fiesta Island Summer Camp. Investigators say Primes was arrested by the San Diego Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force after a report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children found that he possessed and sent thousands of images of child sex abuse. Primes will be back in court in February.
With the Omicron variant spreading, travelers are preparing for stricter testing requirements as new travel rules are now in effect.
News 8's Dana Marie McNichol breaks down what type of testing you will need if traveling abroad before you can return to the U.S.
If you're planning on traveling internationally, get ready to arrange a COVID-19 test 24 hours before you return home. It may seem like a hassle, but for San Diegans heading to the Mexico beaches, getting a COVID test is easier than you might think. The nation's new travel policy is now in effect, giving travelers another thing to think about. Passengers flying into the United States are required to show a negative COVID test within 24 hours before their flight into the country, regardless of vaccination status or nationality. Last week, the White House banned travel from 8 African countries over the Omicron variant. As of now, all of the cases in the U.S. have been mild, but the variant is already in 17 states. If you're heading to beaches south of the border, maybe to find that sun, getting your COVID test is really easy and could be free.
It's very convenient.
Marco Vasquez with the Cape Hotel in Cabo San Lucas says the hotel provides free COVID-19 testing on the resort.
Right now, with the new regulations, 7 days of week, the antigen test.
According to visitloscabos.com, almost all hotels and resorts have in-house testing. For the type of test required, passengers traveling into the U.S. must show proof of a rapid test, indicating it is a NAAT or antigen test. If you recently recovered from COVID-19 in the past 90 days, you may instead travel with documentation of recovery. This includes a letter from a licensed healthcare provider that you were clear to travel.
We provide the results in 3-4 hours.
The test must show it was issued by a laboratory, healthcare entity, or telehealth service.
If they show positive, they have option to stay in home property.
At a discounted rate of 50% a night while in quarantine. Travel advisors suggest budgeting for that expense. This new travel requirement only applies to international air travel into the United States, not land border crossings or through a seaport. In San Diego, Dana Marie McNichol, News 8.